From literal cash stuffed in a mattress to paintings worth millions in the sofa, here are 10 of the best random places where valuables have been found. Cash in a mattress. Hiding cash in the mattress is as old school as it gets, and guess what? People still do it. In 2017, federal agents found $20 million in cash stuffed in a mattress. This is one of those things you have to see with your own eyes to believe. The amount of cash jammed into this mattress is hard to look at without drooling, but just wait until you hear the story behind the cash. According to a report by CNN, the $20 million belonged to a Brazilian man and was related to a pyramid scheme. The pyramid scheme company was called Telex Free Inc., an internet phone service company based in Massachusetts. You know, when you have that kind of money under the bed, it's usually not for a good reason. It went down like this. The suspect flew from Brazil to the United States of America to meet a cooperating witness in the pyramid scheme case. The man met the witness at a restaurant. The witness gave the man a suitcase filled with around $2 million in bills, and then the federal agents followed the man to an apartment complex. After arresting him, agents searched his apartment and found the cash. All of it was packed inside of a box spring, but not just the $2 million, there was $20 million in cash. Score. The man was later charged with one count of conspiring to commit money laundering. The federal authorities claim that the pyramid scheme defrauded people out of roughly $1 billion. Now, that's one heck of a scheme. Sadly, the $20 million is not even close to what people lost. Gold coins in the backyard. The last thing you expect to find hidden in the backyard is gold, but that's exactly what one California couple found while out walking their dog. They were hiking on their property when they found a literal buried treasure of rare gold coins estimated to be worth around $11 million in some rusty coffee cans. $11 million! The coins date from between 1847 and 1894, and they are all made of gold. When the find was announced, people suspected that some bank robber must have hid them there. According to the experts, paper money was illegal in California until the 1870s. This is why the gold coins are so rare. Everyone was using coins before they used paper money, but these coins are in mint condition. However, it's still unclear how the coins came to be in the ground or who put them there. There is one theory that links the coins to a stagecoach robbery by the outlaw Jesse James, but the theory is not conclusive and most likely not realistic. There were approximately 1,427 gold coins from the American Gold Rush era. Suffice to say, the California couple got very rich very quickly. They were allowed to keep it, and so they started to auction them off for as much as $15,000 each. Coin experts said that some coins were so rare they were worth $1 million each. It's like they found a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. The pair are choosing to remain anonymous, so a bunch of people don't come to dig up their property. The couple said they would keep some of the money and donate some to charity. What would you do if you found a bunch of gold coins? Would you announce it? Keep it a secret? Spend it? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and join the Talltanic family. Coins in the wall. Florida has a long and crazy history, and a lot of the history has to do with sunken treasures and gold goods stolen from shipwrecks. But how about a condemned home with silver coins stashed in the walls? As the story goes, city workers of St. Cloud were in the middle of leveling a bungalow from 1915 when an amazing discovery was found. At least one dumpster had been removed from the site before one of the members of the crew began hearing the sound of metal pouring out of the walls. According to the city workers, it became a dramatic treasure hunt for everyone to find the coins. There were 2,000 of them in glass pickle jars, and they were literally spilling through the debris. Workers were scrambling to get their hands on as many coins as possible. However, nobody was allowed to keep anything because it was all city property. The coins were taken by the police and put into evidence. The house had been purchased for just $39,900 and had been basically abandoned with no water or electricity hooked up for years. Included in the coins were 861 half dollars, 1,016 quarters, 202 dimes, and 3 nickels. The oldest among the half dollars dated all the way back to 1917, with the most recent coin being a 1964 Kennedy half dollar. It's hard to say how much the coins might be worth, but some estimates say they were worth more than the house. Inherited Parisian apartment. This story is pretty complex. It started in 2010 when a 91-year-old woman died in the south of France. The woman left behind her grandmother's apartment in Paris, which she had inherited long ago in her life. However, the old lady had never paid much attention to the old apartment, and so the apartment was passed on down the line. Apparently, they were pretty wealthy. The family of the deceased hired an auctioneer to visit the apartment and inventory its content. When they opened the front door, they found an apartment completely untouched since before World War II. Who leaves a fancy apartment untouched? Oh, geez. When the 91-year-old woman first inherited the apartment, she was just 23 years old. The year was 1942. She took one look, locked the door, then left town. For the next 70 years, the woman continued to pay the rent on the apartment until her death. The result was a Parisian time capsule completely untouched since the early 1940s. Under a thick film of dust is one of the best preserved trips back in time ever. This thing is full of luxury. The list of unique items and artifacts goes on, with everything from antique furniture to extraordinary pieces of artwork. There are wooden vanities, a stuffed ostrich, toys, and beautiful, expensive decorations. The media described it almost like Sleeping Beauty's bedroom. The location remains anonymous. Artwork inside a couch. We all dream of finding a hidden treasure at the thrift store, luxury clothing, old antiques, you name it. However, this basically never happens to anyone, right? But surprisingly, it did happen to a young student in Germany. In a story reported by Fox News, a young student in Berlin purchased a pull-out couch for about $215 at a flea market. After getting home, the young student unfolded the couch and discovered a painting worth 100 times what she had paid for the couch. It was a small oil painting titled Preparation to Escape to Egypt, and it was sold in 2007 at a Hamburg art auction for $27,630. That's one impressive thrift store find. The original painter of the work was an unknown artist who was apparently close to the famous painter Carlo Saraceni, and had lived somewhere between 1605 and 1620. How it ended up in the couch, only the painting knows. Super random, right? There is also a story of a family in Buffalo, New York who may have found the biggest discovery in the couch to date. It might be a lost Michelangelo, an unfinished painting of Jesus and Mary, and possibly the biggest find of the century. Tests are being done to confirm, but if it is real, it would be worth $300 million. Cash in the bathroom. Money makes people do some pretty crazy things. People have gotten into fights over a whole lot less than what this story is about. Let's start by saying a home improvement contractor was in the middle of a job in Cleveland when he stumbled upon a massive treasure of cash from the Great Depression hiding inside the wall. He was ripping plaster from the bathroom wall when he discovered bundles of bills wrapped in pre-World War II newspapers and tucked inside of boxes. The bills themselves are super rare and collectible, never mind how much money he actually found. The total amount of bills equaled $182,000, but considering how collectible each bill is on its own, the treasure could be worth $500,000. The problem was that the money did not belong to the contractor, it was not his house. However, the man claimed it as his own. He even got a lawyer and started dusting off some old and obscure laws, trying to find a loophole to keep the money, which the owner of the house had taken and kept for herself. The worst part is that the two people had once been friends. They have since been turned to bitter enemies as they each fight to keep as much of the old money for themselves as possible. Roman coins in barley field. It's all about the coins. A 33-year-old man whose family owns a farm was out in a field of barley one day with a metal detector when he stumbled upon a collection of over 9,000 coins. This is a pretty old story as it dates all the way back to 1998 in England. The man had been with his cousin at the time of the discovery, and after some back and forth with the authorities, it was determined the coins rightfully belonged to them since it was buried treasure. As for the coins themselves, they are of Roman origin and were valued back then at over $250,000. The funniest part is that it was a total fluke. According to the man who found them, he had been experimenting with the metal detector for less than 5 minutes before he found his first coin. Within half an hour, him and his cousin had filled several buckets completely full of coins. There were thousands of them buried less than a foot beneath the soil. Where did they come from? There had been a Roman town about 12 miles from their location. The coins themselves had been minted at some point around AD 193, nearly 2,000 years ago. How they ended up scattered across the field is anyone's guess. Picasso found at a thrift store. Let's keep it rolling with another amazing thrift store find. This one comes from the United Kingdom. A man named Philip had been browsing a thrift sale when he came upon a painting that stood out to him. Although he immediately assumed it was a fake, he spent almost $300 on it because he liked it so much. Carried on by his interest, Philip went and talked to some experts to learn more, and yes, it turned out that he made the purchase of a lifetime. The picture he bought for $300 could very well be an original work by Pablo Picasso. Initially, there were some doubts to the painting's authenticity, but after the painting was studied and taken out of its frame, an expert found a message with a clear signature from Picasso on the painting. It turned out to be an unknown painting from earlier in his life. The signature was clearly that of Picasso, and it even came with a blurred message that could have been in Spanish, English, or French. There was a date as well, but it was quite faded. In any case, there is a high probability of this painting being real. It could fetch Philip a cool $1 million at auction on the low side. On the high side, it could be worth over $100 million. This is definitely the score of a lifetime. Imagine how mad the man who sold it must be. Again, how did it end up at a thrift store? The Declaration of Independence. How would you like to pay $4 for an original copy of the Declaration of Independence? As reported by the Los Angeles Times, a man purchased a painting for $4 from a flea market and later discovered that inside the oil painting was a copy of the Declaration of Independence printed in 1776 and that it was worth around $1 million. The Declaration of Independence is arguably the single most important printed page in the United States history, and this very fortunate man found it simply hiding beneath an oil painting. And he only paid $4 for it. That's an unbelievable return on his initial investment. It's speculated that only around 200 copies of the document were printed and distributed throughout the country to government leaders in 1776. The copy found beneath the oil painting is one of only 24 known to still be around today. Storage unit of treasures. Last on the list of bizarre places to find treasures is none other than a storage unit. Although, based on Storage Wars, now we kind of expect nothing less than storage units, we want goodies. In 2011, a man from San Jose placed a bet on an abandoned storage unit, paid around $1,000 for it, opened up the door, and found $500,000 worth of gold and silver. The impulsive purchase ended up gifting the man with an absolute gold mine of rare coins, gold bars, and silver bars, all of which were stored in a random plastic container inside the storage unit. Well, the discovery was so unexpected that even though the auction was held by the same people who held the auctions for the Storage Wars TV program, there were no cameras present to capture the actual discovery of the century. Yes, the one thing that would have actually been worth a fortune on the show. It's all about timing. How would you feel about finding cash stacked in your walls? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. See you again soon for another exciting video.